what's happening around the world,
and what's happening here at home. A very good evening. You're watching Primetime News here on TV1. Bringing you the news, I'm Hashini Pathirana.
And I'm Sandro Ferdinando. Let's take a look at your headlines for tonight.
On to your top story tonight, Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval, who is in Sri Lanka on an official visit, held discussions with several presidential candidates and political parties.
One of the most senior positions in India's National Security Council, the National Security Advisor, is responsible for advising the Prime Minister on national security policy and foreign affairs.
Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met with representatives of North-East Tamil political parties yesterday afternoon. M.S. Sumandiran and S. Sridharan of the Ilangai Tamil Arasu Katchi, Selvam Adaikalanadan of the Tamil Elam Liberation Organisation, Dharmalingam Siddharthan of the People's Liberation Organisation of Tamil Elam, and Selvaraja Kajendran of the Tamil National People's Front attended the meeting.
Some participants in this discussion explained the decision to field a common Tamil candidate. We expressed our opinion that we should support a candidate who agrees with us by extending support to a main candidate and negotiating with him. He did not say anything directly, but he indicated that even if the Tamil people had 8% of the votes, it could still impact the decisive contest between the main candidates. He said that it could become a vote that decides the winning candidate. Therefore, he emphasized the need for everyone to agree and reach a consensus. Subsequently, we were told that we could achieve significant success if we acted as a unified group and avoided splitting votes strategically.
MP Selvaraja Kajendran had this to say on the meeting during a media briefing in Jaffna.
He told us that we should use our votes strategically. We told him that if a candidate proposes a constitutional amendment under a federal system, we would consider it. India has a vested interest in bringing a preferred candidate to power, driven by the need to manage in relations with China. India is seeking to support a candidate who aligns with its interests.
Meanwhile, a meeting between Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval and President Ranil Wickremesinghe took place this morning at the President's office. According to the President's Media Division, the discussions focused on the ongoing economic collaboration between the two countries. India's National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met with the presidential candidate of the National People's Power, Anurakumara Disanayaka, this morning. MP Vijitha Herath also participated in this meeting. Details of the discussion were not disclosed. Ajit Doval also met with the presidential candidate of the Samagi Jana Balawegaya, Saj Premadasa. They engaged in a lengthy discussion for almost 1.5 hours regarding strengthening ties between the two countries. Meanwhile, Indian National Security Advisor Ajit Doval met with a group of MPs from the Tamil Progressive Alliance led by MP Mano Ganesan.
At his invitation, we participated in the discussion today. We spoke about how India supported us with $4 billion during Sri Lanka's economic distress. He said that India is ready to collaborate even if they come to power, and emphasized the national security and good governance of the two countries are intertwined.
Additionally, the Memorandum of Understanding for the establishment of a secretariat for member countries of the Colombo Security Conclave, including Sri Lanka, India, Bangladesh, Maldives and Mauritius, was signed in Colombo today. The signing took place at the President's office this afternoon.
Our collective commitment to the 5 fundamental pillars and the objectives of the Colombo Security Conclave will be crucial in shaping a future where peace, stability and prosperity are not just aspirations but tangible realities. In a world characterized by rapid change and evolving threats, our efforts should focus on further strengthening regional partnerships, sharing intelligence and developing collaborative strategies. It is imperative that we address traditional security concerns while also confronting emerging threats that transcend borders, including cybersecurity, transnational crime and maritime security. It's a good start for us or a good next lap for us. And let's make the most of this.
Sri Lanka decides. Sri Lanka decides.
Presidential candidate Anura Kumara Dissanayake revealed that several parties are working hard to build a unified platform against the National People's Power. He said that they are using this as their final trump card to achieve this goal.
Looking at
the current political landscape, it seems certain that this could lead to victory. We have information that efforts to form a coalition have begun. You might wonder how they will respond. They are trying to figure out how to reunite, as the same groups that were once united are now split into different factions, which could lead to their defeat. However, we believe it is too late for that now. These efforts should have been made long ago. The people are committed to forming a government for the people, regardless of the opposition. We aim to create a government in Sri Lanka where the goals of the people and the rulers align. We share the same desire of our country's future and the kind of life we want for its citizens.
ජනතාවගේ අරමුණත් පාලකයන්ගේ අරමුණත් සමපාත වෙන එකක් වෙන ආණ්ඩුව. ඔබට අපේ රටේ ජනතාව අපේ රට කවරාකර රටක් බවට පත් විය යුතුද කියන උවමනාව. ඔබට අපේ රටේ ජනතාවට මොන වගේ ජීවිතයක් උරුමයි කළ යුතුද කියන උවමනාව. ඒ හා සමාන උවමනාවක් අපටත් තිබෙනවා.
Anura Kumara Dissanayake expressed these views while addressing the National Conference of Professional Lecturers this afternoon, which was held in Thalawathugoda. Presidential candidate Anura Kumara Dissanayake has announced a plan to revise government employees' salaries every 6 months with adjustments based on the cost of living. He expressed these views at a conference organized by the Development Officers Service Union and the Graduate Employees Union held at the Vihara Mahadevi Park this morning.
Many believe that the government's service will only be satisfied with a salary increase. The president's plan is to raise salaries to 25,000 rupees next year. Why can't he implement that this year? According to my calculations, the cost to raise salaries by 25,000 rupees would amount to 420 billion rupees. As postal votes approach, they are assuming they can influence the votes when 25,000 is given. We all know that we need to provide a salary that meets the cost of living, which is why we have outlined our plans in our manifesto. Claims of increasing salaries to 25,000 to 20,000 rupees are lies. If such plans were truly feasible, Ranil could have implemented them already. Government service went on strike for a long time recently. Then they said that they have no funds. How can Ranil Wickremesinghe promise a salary increase of 25,000 rupees in January? Unlike this approach, we have a comprehensive plan to ensure that salaries are adjusted every 6 months to match living expenses. Our commitment is to provide a stable and reliable living wage rather than making increases based on electoral promises or public outcry. It is our responsibility to ensure that government officers are properly cared consistently.
Chandana Suryarachi, the convener of the state and provincial public service trade unions, also addressed the gathering.
We must create a professional environment in the public service where we can work with dignity and respect. Our goal is to prevent the bitter and unpleasant experiences we have endured over the past 23 years from recurring. Let us unite and fight for this change. Take to the streets, advocate passionately and struggle for a better future. We have now embarked on a new path of battle.
President Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is running as an independent candidate, said that he has devised a comprehensive plan for the future of Sri Lanka's youth.
The Puluwan Sri Lanka National Youth Conference took place this morning under the chairmanship of President Ranil Wickremesinghe at the Maharagama Youth Service Council Hall.
It is proposed to create 100,000 self-employment opportunities for the youth next year. This initiative will not stop there. From next year onwards, we will also provide financial support to an additional 50,000 individuals beyond those currently receiving vocational training. These individuals will need to engage with institutions, whether government or private companies. If they can secure employment through this training, they will receive financial assistance for it. The specifics of the available jobs cannot be detailed at this moment, but suitable opportunities will be created. We will also establish a dedicated bank to offer guidance to unemployed youth. The competitive examination system for government recruitment will continue. Furthermore, professional training will be provided to those who have not passed the advanced level. Details about how and where this training will be delivered are yet to be clarified. Additionally, a development bank will be set up to offer loans to young people. We will also engage with groups in the branches for the youth service councils to discuss the future. Note that these branches are referred to as youth clubs. I have reviewed the proposals of former Minister Saj Premadasa, but I will not discuss them here. There were 49 words dedicated to youth issues and I can't even reach 50. That's the extent of what has been accomplished.
තරුණයන් ගැන ලියලා තියෙන වචන 49 ලියලා තියෙනවා. 50ක්වත් ගන්න බැරිව. එච්චරයි කළා තියෙන්නේ. මෙයාට අනාගතයක් බාර දෙනවද? මේ අනාගතයක් කරනවද?
The youth were also given the opportunity to direct questions to independent presidential candidate President Ranil Wickremesinghe.
අපි දැනගන්න පුළුවන්ද මොකද්ද මේ තේරවාදී වෙළඳ ආර්ථිකයක් කියන්නේ කියලා ජනාධිපතිතුමනි?
අතීතයේදී ඉන්දියන් සාගරය කේන්ද්‍රස්ථානය කරගෙන
In the past, this region centered around the Indian Ocean thrived as a major trading hub. Sri Lanka played a pivotal role in this network, facilitating the exchange of goods between the Middle East and China. We exported our own produce, including grains. That is the state we created. When it collapsed, Thailand emerged. That state also collapsed in the 18th century. With independence and subsequent development of Asia, both these states began to rebuild their economies. While we established an open economy, Thailand chose to develop an export-oriented economy based on the traditional model. We did not follow that path, so we were stuck in one place. While they made significant global strides, I am now suggesting that we return to a Theravada-based economy model, reflecting our historical roots. The connection between Buddhism and trade in Sri Lanka dates back to the very beginning. It was two merchants, Tapassu and Balluka, who first brought the message of Buddhism to our island.
අතීතයේ ලංකාවත් දැන් අපේ පරණ තේරවාද ආර්ථිකයට යමු කියලා. අපි බලනවා නම් ලංකාව ඉස්සෙල්ලම බුදුදහම ගැන පණිවිඩය කවුද ලංකාවට ගෙනාවේ? වෙළඳ දෙන්නෙක් නේ තපස්සු බල්ලුක. ඒ අපේ බුද්ධ ධර්මයත් වෙළඳාම අතරත් තිබුණ සම්බන්ධය.
ඔබතුමාගේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති ප්‍රකාශනයේ සඳහන් වෙලා තියෙනවා ඩිජිටල් මාකටිං, ඊ-කොමර්ස් සහ ෆ්‍රීලාන්සින් කියන කන්සෙප්ට්ස් තුන. තුන මට දැනගන්න ඕනි ඔබතුමාගේ අදහස මේ ෆයිබර් වගේ ප්ලැට්ෆෝම්ස් වල ඉදිරින්න තරුණයන්ට කොහොමද අපි රෙකග්නිෂන් එකක් ඔබතුමා දෙන්නේ සහ ඔවුන්ට ඒ පහසුකම ලබා දෙන්නේ කෙසේද කියලා.
ප්‍රධාන කාරණේ තමයි අපිට බැංකු එක්ක දැන් කතා කරන්න තිබෙනවා ඒ මුදල් පහසුකම ලැබීම ගැන.
Mainly, we need to engage with banks to discuss providing financial support to young freelancers. Recognition is important. It must be paired with financial assistance to be truly effective. Decisions will be made following discussions and the implementation of the new law. Banks were not ready to take on new responsibilities at a time of an economic downturn. Now is the time to hold those discussions. The Gen Z is here. You were raised in a digital age. Some people say that you can't live without mobile phones. Is the Gen Z going to vote in this election or refrain from voting? Those who will vote for any one of the 39 candidates, raise your hand. That means the others will not vote.
ඡන්දේ දෙන අය අත උස්සනවද? කාට හරි ඡන්දේ දෙන අය. අපේක්ෂව 39න් ඕනෑක්කෙන්ට ඡන්දේ දෙන අය අත උස්සන්න. ඒ කියන්නේ අනික් අය ඡන්දේ දෙන්නේ නැහැ. හරි ස්තුතියි.
ඔබතුමන්ගේ ප්‍රතිපත්ති ප්‍රකාශනයේ කියලා තියෙනවා ඉන්දියාවට විදුලිය සපයනවා කියලා. ඒකේ එතකොට කේන්ද්‍රීය ස්ථානය කරගත්තේ යාපනයේ ප්‍රදේශය. අපි අහන්නේ ඔබතුමාගෙන් එතකොට යාපනයේ තරුණ තරුණියන්ට මොකක්ද ඒකින් ලැබෙන ප්‍රතිලාභය?
විදුලි බලයේ කේන්ද්‍ර ස්ථානයක් වුණාම එතෙන්ට විශේෂ
As electricity becomes a central focus, it will attract special businesses and industries to Jaffna. This development will make Jaffna a key business hub, bringing substantial benefits to the area. The flow of money and investment into Jaffna will increase as electricity is supplied from Mana and Jaffna to India.
සපයන්න තියෙන්නේ ලංගම ප්‍රදේශ ඒක දියුණු වෙනවා.
සැප්තැම්බර් 21 තියෙන්නේ මේ රටේ තවත් ජනාධිපතිවරයෙක් තෝරගන්න ජනාධිපතිවර.
The presidential election on the 21st September is not merely about selecting a new president. The election determines whether we return to the state our country was in 2 years ago or move forward. If you wish not to go back in time, there is a cylinder mark on the ballot paper to cast your vote. We cannot halt this journey.
අන්ද පත්‍රිකාවට ලකුණක් ඇවිල්ලා තියෙනවා.
Presidential candidate Saj Premadasa stressed that the Samagi Jana Balawege is not here to protect the elite class but to safeguard the common man.
The 27th rally in the series of campaigns in support of presidential candidate of the Samagi Jana Balawege, Saj Premadasa, was held this afternoon in Nikkavaratia.
Sri Lanka Vamadirian Sarasen Magerata Balagan Manaka Sarasen Divulu Yali Kandan Naka Sarasen Samakia Balagan Vaniki Sarasen Sri Lanka Vamadirian Sarasen
The people of Vannihatpattu, especially Yapahua and Galgamu, are eagerly awaiting the completion of the Northwestern Province Canal Project. As President, I will ensure the completion of the two reservoir projects, Mahakirula and Mahakitula. Our government is focused on protecting the millions. If the debts of millionaires can be written off for private interests, why can't we address the agricultural debts of our country's farmers? We will prove that this government is here to serve not the elite class, but the common people, farmers and fishermen. We are committed to protecting the working class of this country, especially in Vannihatpattu, Yapahua, Nikkavaratia and Galgamu electorates. The suburban Variapalli electorate will also be designated as a special development zone. We will establish factories and IT parks at the divisional secretaries level. 1 million new entrepreneurs will emerge to benefit the youth. Education will be enhanced, with every school in the Kurunegala district becoming a smart school. To the 22 million people of this country, I want to be your first thought when you face difficulties, pain or seek solutions. Remember, Saj Premadasa is your only true friend in times of sorrow. I am Ranasinghe Premadasa's son.
Samagi Jana Balawege MPs and supporters also addressed the rally.
Look at this stage. How many MPs among the 6.9 million are here with us on stage? How many people from the local government members are here today? How many Pradeshia Sabha members among the 6.9 million are here? I'm glad to say that all of you have come together to help Sajit win. Ranil Wickramasinghe is constantly trying to split Sajit Premadasa's votes to boost Kumara's numbers. We need to move beyond that. Now they want Ranga Bandara out. They claim Ranga Bandara is not working effectively. I want to tell Ranil Wickramasinghe that the issue is not with Ranga Bandara's performance. Rather, Ranga Bandara has no role to play in the United National Party. The main issue for farmers in our area is managing their crops and protecting them from elephants. Under Saj Premadasa's government, we will address this problem within 6 months by deploying a task force with our tri-forces. We will ensure this issue is resolved.
Presidential candidate of the Samagi Jana Balawege, Saj Premadasa, presented his manifesto to the chief prelate of the Ramanya sect, Most Venerable Makulave Vimala Thera today. He called on the Venerable Thera and obtained blessings. He also explained about his future plans.
On our journey towards becoming a smart country and recovering from bankruptcy, the goal is to transform all religious places into centers that offer excellent education to youth and children while promoting religious beliefs.
ජනාධිපතිතුමා ප්‍රකාශ කරලා තියෙනවා අනිකුත් අපේක්ෂකයන් ඉදිරිපත් කරන ප්‍රතිපත්ති ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න බැරි ඒවා කියලා.
ඒවා කියනකොට මට පාස්පෝර්ට් පොලිම මතක් වෙන්නේ. ඒ ප්‍රතිපත්ති ප්‍රකාශනය තුළ සත්‍යවාදීව යථාර්ථවාදී.
This reminds of the passport queues. In that manifesto, we have truthfully and realistically mentioned the policies we are planning to implement. Some may ask if they will be implemented. The answer to that is in the 76 years of our country's democratic history, who has done anything while sitting in the opposition? Therefore, it is not a difficult task to implement our manifesto when we have done so much without even having power.
Presidential candidate of the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna, Namal Rajapakse, asserts that only his party's policies ensure the unity of the country.
A rally was held this afternoon in the Biagam electorate to support the candidacy of Namal Rajapakse for the presidency under the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna banner. State Ministers Indika Anuruddha and Prasanna Ranatunga were also in attendance.
We have not only confronted challenges as a party but have also overcome them for the benefit of the people of this country. We have successfully addressed the challenge of defeating terrorism. I see no distinction in the manifestos among the parties. The current discourse focuses on the devolution of powers and laws that are incompatible with our country's culture and needs. None of these policies were crafted with confidence in local businesses. In contrast, our policy developed through the Sri Lanka Podujana Peramuna's Mahinda Chintana avoids harmful legislation. Our program is designed to uphold national unity and promote the welfare of the people, particularly from rural areas.
Mahinda Rajapakse's son Namal Rajapakse is the sole leader who opposes divisive policies. The other three endorse measures that could fragment power. Among the four leaders, Namal Rajapakse alone demonstrates a genuine commitment to the nation.
සෝමාවතියට යන්න පාර හදලා දුන්නේ සෝමාවතියට යන්න පුළුවන් උනේ.
Who made it possible for us to go to Somavatiya? It was Mahinda Rajapakse. Who let us visit Nagadeepa? Mahinda Rajapakse. Who made the trip to Serua Villa possible? Again, it was Mahinda Rajapakse. Remember, Buddhists in this country will support Namal Rajapakse not merely for ceremonial reasons, but out of genuine respect and support.
නාට්‍ය නැටුවට මේ රටේ බෞද්ධයා ඡන්දය ගහන්නේ නාමල් රාජපක්ෂට පමණයි කියන එක මතක තියාගනින්න. රවට්ටලා ඡන්ද ගන්න බෑ දෙයියෝ.
Independent presidential candidate Field Marshal Sarat Fonseka expressed these views during a public meeting held in Akurasa today.
The Rajapakses amassed great wealth by obtaining loans, misusing them, taking bribes and engaging in unprofitable ventures. We are all now paying the consequences of their actions, including future generations who will inherit a debt of 1 million each. The loans we obtained through fraudulent means, and we must now repay them. Even if it means sacrificing basic necessities. To escape the crisis, we need at least 15% of the votes to be floating votes in the upcoming election. We must eliminate the influence of political parties and adopt a more optimistic and realistic approach. Otherwise, our children will not be able to enjoy the same standard of living we have today within the next 2 to 3 years.
What happened to Palitha Rangibandara's position as General Secretary? Did he resign or was he fired?
This is his clarification on the situation.
Palitharange Bandaru responded to the reports about him prior to Ashumara Singha's media briefing, which was scheduled to be held at the United National Party headquarters this morning. General Secretary of the UNP, Palitharange Bandaru, joined the media briefing at the UNP headquarters.
පක්ෂේ නායක රනිල් වික්‍රමසිංහ මහතා මාව මහලේකම් ධූරෙන් ඉවත් කළා කියලා මේ දක්වා නිල දැනුම් දීමක් මට කරලත් නැහැ.
The leader of the party, Ranil Wickremesinghe, has not officially informed me that he has removed from the post of General Secretary of the UNP. Several people have published news in the media that I have been removed from the position of General Secretary and I have been sold for money and positions, and has said that there are various accusations. I am hoping to answer all these accusations soon. I also recall that me and my family were continuously subjected to political revenge, and I remind to those who are responsible not to display brutality by taking revenge on my children. Even though I leave the post of General Secretary, I am still a member of the UNP. I will end my comment by saying that we will meet soon and I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
නුදුරේම අපි හමු වේවා කියලා කියමින් ඔබට ජය වේවා කියලා අදහස් දැක්වීම අවසන් කරනවා. බොහොම ස්තුතියි. එහෙනම් අපි වෙන දවසක හම්බෙමු. අපි අපේ සිංගල් ඇතුලේ වල. ඔව්. මම UNP සමාජිකයෙක්. UNP කාරයෙක්. ගෙදර යනවා.
Former MP Ashumara Singha also addressed the media.
මේ සිරිපොත ඇතුලේ තියෙන උණුසුම් තත්ත්වයක් ගිනියරා වගේ ස්වරූපයක් තියෙන දැන් මහලේකම්වරයා ඉවත් කළා කියන වාර්තාව වෙනවා. එතුමා ආන්දෝලනාත්මක ප්‍රකාශ කළා දැන් ටික වෙලාවකට කලින් මොකක්ද අතන වෙලා තියෙන්නේ?
ඉතින් එහෙනම් මොකද්ද කෙහෙල් කැන්ට ගනින් වැටපැල්ල මන් දන්නෙත් නෑ. එහෙම දෙයක් නැහැ අපි. එතුමාට වැඩියෙන්ම දන්නේ එතුමා ඉවත් මහලේකම් ඉන්නේ. තාත මහත්මියට මහලේකම් දූරේ දෙන්න යනවා කියලා සමහර මාධ්‍ය වාර්තා කරනවා. ඒ මාධ්‍යම හදපු කතාවක් කියලා තමයි මම හිතන්නේ. ඒ කියන්නේ මේක සම්පූර්ණ බොරුවක්. මට කියන්න තියෙන්නේ මම දන්නා තරමින් මේ මොහොතේ එහෙම දෙයක් සිද්ධ වෙලා නැහැ. කවුද දන්නේ හෙට මොන හරි වෙනස් වෙන්න පුළුවන්. එහෙම දෙයක් තියෙනවා කොත්ත්‍යාධිකාරී මල්ලේ සාකච්ඡා කරන්න ඕනේ. එහෙම දෙයක් සාකච්ඡා කරේ නැහැ.
The European Union Election Observation Mission for Sri Lanka's presidential election held a media briefing in Colombo today to highlight the mission's role in the country.
The European Union has deployed an election observation mission for Sri Lanka's presidential election on the 21st of September 2024. Led by Chief Observer Nacho Sanchez Amor, a member of the European Parliament from Spain, the mission began with a core team of 10 experts on the 14th of August and expanded to 26 long-term observers across all 9 provinces on the 29th of August. In a press conference held in Colombo today, Sanchez Amor highlighted the mission's role in ensuring the election process adheres to national laws and international standards.
Every talk we are having with stakeholders, with the people, with the electoral commission in the provinces, with the candidates and parties all over the geography of the country, that means we think this is a good coverage to conduct an objective assessment of the election. Are assessing the compliance of the authorities of the country with the domestic law and your international commitments. We are not here to compare or to test or to check the compliance with our values, but the values you are committed to via international law. The covenants and the treaties you have signed, and that protects the right to participate and many other civic and political rights. I want to be clear.
2 days after the election, the European Union Election Observation Mission will release a preliminary statement and hold another press conference in Colombo. A comprehensive final report, including recommendations for the future electoral reforms, will be published and presented to the authorities approximately 2 months after the election.
Strengthening the people, fighting for the truth, leading a nation, forging the future. Newsfirst, with the people.
Health Minister Dr. Ramesh Pathirana has assured that the Ministry of Health will not undertake any emergency medicine purchases or procure substandard medications under any circumstances. In a media briefing this morning, Dr. Ramesh Pathirana responded to recent allegations suggesting that the ministry is attempting to procure a significant quantity of medicines from 2 Indian companies without the proper registration from the National Medicine Regulatory Authority.
It has recently come to light that a cabinet paper was submitted on the 13th of August for the emergency procurement of 37 types of medicines from India without requisite registration.
We wish to make it clear that the Ministry of Health will not engage in any emergency medicine purchases or procure medications of inferior quality through any procurement process. We are also committed to ensuring that no unregistered medicines are imported into Sri Lanka. Concerns on ethics have arisen due to two key factors. Firstly, there is an existing government-to-government agreement between Sri Lanka and the Jan Aushadhi company. This initiative aims to supply high-quality medicines to India and neighbouring countries through government-owned institutions. In response to a request from the Indian government to participate in this scheme, a cabinet paper was submitted. This paper seeks to facilitate the procurement of medicines from India at reasonable prices, provided they are registered in Sri Lanka. We are currently in the process of finalizing a memorandum of understanding with the Indian government. Although the cabinet paper was approved, the MOU wasn't signed. Under this arrangement, any medicine supplied to Sri Lanka must be registered with the NMRA before they can be imported.
A solution
to the queues at the Immigration and Immigration Department was provided by this morning.
The delays in issuing passports had led to long lines around the Immigration and Immigration Department for several days. This issue arose from a temporary shortage of blank passports due to the recent transition to an electronic passport system. The Department of Immigration and Immigration said that 750,000 blank passports have been ordered from the same supplier responsible for producing the e-passports. Measures have been put in place to process nearly 1,000 passports per day in the order of their arrival until the stock is replenished. By this morning, the police intervened and issued numbers for the following days. As a result, the crowd outside the premises had dispersed.
A group of representatives from the National People's Power filed a complaint with the Election Commission today.
A group of National People's Power representatives arrived at the National Election Commission today to file a complaint about a statement made on August 27th by former Minister Rajapakse.
He said that Sri Lankans abroad should not come to Sri Lanka to cast their votes for Anura. It is a very threatening statement. According to the Presidential Elections Act, this constitutes undue influence. Today, Sri Lankans abroad and those in the country all expect a peaceful, free and fair election. Therefore, it is serious for a ruling party member to make statements like this.
Meanwhile, the National People's Power yesterday filed a complaint at the Criminal Investigation Department about a letter allegedly sent to heads of media and editors using the name, signature and letterhead of the National People's Power's presidential candidate Anura Disanayake.
There is a possibility that such incidents could occur in the future, especially in the critical days ahead. There is a risk that news could be fabricated to mislead the public using our signatures and letterheads. This is a very serious situation. Therefore, we submitted a written request to the Criminal Investigation Department today, urging them to investigate and take immediate action to address the issue.
For a rich country, Rata Anurata, Jatika Jana Balavegaya. Dawa Pintaru Vedamulu Maha Pradarshaniya. NVQ සහතිකලාභී වෘත්තීය පින්තාරු ශිල්පියෙක් ශිල්පිනියක් වීමට ඔබත් අදම එක්වන්න. ඉස්තරහා ව්‍යාපදිංචි වීමට අමතන්න 0777 6040. ජෙට් පින්තාරු අභිමාන දේශීය දව පින්තාරු කරන්නේ උන්නතිය උදෙසා. For a rich country, රට අනුරට ජාතික ජන බලවේගය.
We live in a world of progress, but what if progress isn't reaching everyone? Millions of Sri Lankans struggle without access to clean water, safe roads and bridges to a better life. But you have reached out. You have touched their lives. Thank you, Sri Lanka, for making Gammadda the most impactful rural development movement in our nation. Gammadda, For the people, by the people.
The annual Nallur Festival 2024. Join us at the Shakti TV Nallur live studio from the 30th of August to the 1st of September, and tune in to Shakti TV to witness live telecast of the Sapparam on the 31st of August from 5:30 p.m. and the Ther on the 1st of September from 6:30 a.m. Shakti TV, power of the nation.
Welcome back to the news. Sri Lanka's bondholders are seeking to weigh in on the country's debt case in a New York court.
Lawyers representing the members of the steering committee of the ad hoc group of international bondholders of Sri Lanka, which includes some of the world's largest financial institutions, have filed a motion in the Southern District Court of New York. They are requesting to file an amicus brief with regard to the action filed against Sri Lanka by Hamilton Reserve Bank Limited. They added that the steering committee has been working with Sri Lanka on restructuring Sri Lanka's external debt over an extended period of time. In the briefing on Sri Lanka's most recent stay motion, both plaintiff Hamilton Reserve Bank and defendant Sri Lanka made statements and characterizations about the status of negotiations between Sri Lanka and the steering committee, some of which contradict each other. Like other non-parties involved in these complex and multifaceted negotiations, the steering committee respectfully requests the opportunity to add its perspective as the court considers Sri Lanka's requested stay. Accordingly, the steering committee respectfully requests the court's leave to submit the short amicus submission.
Minister of Foreign Affairs Ali Sabri has said that external creditors need not be overly worried with Sri Lanka's recovery program. Speaking to international media, the Foreign Affairs Minister said that Sri Lanka's sea area is also not a battleground for other powers.
Economic growth and economic recovery also remains the biggest issue in these forthcoming presidential elections in Sri Lanka in September. And looks like from the sound of it, I've spoken to many people on the ground as well, it looks like a divided mandate. How would that reflect on the creditors' confidence in Sri Lankan government?
I think the democracy is always like that. It's divided mandate. Everybody won't think the same way. For the first time in Sri Lankan history, there are three formidable candidates. So it's not going to be two-pronged race. It's going to be three-pronged race. So it's important. But if you look at yesterday, the Marxist Party came out the day before yesterday, launched the manifesto. Even in that, they are saying that they will continue with the IMF program. So they don't give nitty-gritties and descriptions of that, but the fact that they will continue with it is a breather. Opposition is also saying the same thing. Of course, government will anyway continue this. So therefore, nothing for the external creditors to be overly worried. But of course, there is perception in the world and in the business community, the best person to carry through the reforms and get the Sri Lanka out of this is the president himself, because he has proven that for the last 2 years.
But how do you ensure that sovereignty, given such a strategically important place that Sri Lanka has in the Indian Ocean with competing interests from India, China, US?
No, we are not a battleground. No one is coming here. There are parameters here. We work with everybody. But those are basically commercial partnership. If you ask, Sri Lanka will allow anybody to have their military bases here? No way. Military partnership here? No way. Military exercise? Yes. And then open to business? Yes. So basically most of these projects, we advertise and call for tenders and bids. So whoever commercially successful will get that. So we can't say that this is open for everyone else other than China. We can't do that. So most of these things are projects. Their investment comes in. If you look at the Colombo port, we have investment from India.
There were also a discussion on India not liking very much, about this Chinese submarines and those things. How will you tackle something like that?
Basically, we have had a very transparent mechanism on that. Military ships can come to Sri Lanka. Last week, there was a US military ships coming here, warships. Chinese ships are here. And either today or tomorrow, Indian ships are coming. So that's all fine. So We are a port of call. We are in the middle of the most important maritime domain. So if you are in the most important location, you can't be closing it. Then where is the freedom of navigation? We can't have freedom of navigation for one country and not having for the others. Freedom of navigation to all. So we will continue to have that. But when it comes to research ship coming to Sri Lanka, there were some concerns expressed. So we ourselves also found out that we do not have the capacity to understand that properly. So we are in the process of developing our capacity, and then we will re-look at it and realign toward the end of the year.
For a rich country, Rata Anurata, Jatika Jana Balavegaya.
Welcome back to the news. Continuing in more local news, the Shakti TV zone was launched today near the historic Nallur Kandaswamy temple as part of the Nallur Temple Annual Festival. Today's Dandyadupani Festival is a key event in the Nallur Temple Annual Festival. The launch of the Shakti TV zone coincided with this significant festival. The ceremony was led by Shaban Daniel, Group Director of the Capital Maharaja Group.
I think it's important because Nellore is part of the culture of Jaffna, and it is a unique culture. And what Shakti TV has always endeavored to do since its inception, as a dream of its founder, Mr. R. Rajamahendran, our late chairman, and our current chairman, Mr. Saji Rajamahendran, has always been to protect the uniqueness of the culture of Jaffna. And I think by celebrating the Nellore festival, that's exactly what we're doing.
Over the next 3 days, various religious and cultural programs will be held at the Shakti TV zone. Additionally, preparations for screen and sound tests will take place tomorrow and the following day at the Newsfirst studio within the Shakti TV zone.
A smart conference room of Royal College Colombo was declared open yesterday.
The opening ceremony of a new smart conference room of Royal College Colombo was held yesterday.
Fantastic.
The event was attended by Vice Admiral Priyantha Pereira, Commander of the Navy, Tilak Wattuheva, the Principal of Royal College, Old Boys and others. The smart conference room was made possible through the funding from the Royal College, Old Boys, East Coast Foundation and the service support from the Sri Lanka Navy.
And with that, we wrap up news for tonight.
Thank you for joining. Take care and good night.